During the final months of the One-Year War, Zeon discovers a new prototype Gundam being developed in the Arctic. An elite Zeon team was dispatched to eliminate the new prototype, but failed to do so as the Gundam was launched into space to be built secretly on a secret Federation base in Side 6. The story then shifts to a young boy on Side 6 named Alfred Izuhara, who was a big fan of mobile suits and space battles. During a raid on Side 6, Al would meet and befriend a Zeon rookie named Bernard Wiseman, and together along with the elite team that was dispatched in the Arctic, they now devise a plan to either capture or destroy the powerful new Gundam on Side 6. War in the Pocket marks the 10th anniversary of the franchise, and was the very first Gundam production that wasn't directed by Tomino. It was also the very first OVA in the franchise as well. The OVA is unique compared to most other Gundam series because it focuses mostly on character relationships and how war affects the mind of a child, rather than full-blown action and space battles, which can be a bit distasteful for some. Though what it lacks in glamour truly shines in substance. War in the Pocket shows us once again that the Earth Federation and Zeon are not completely black and white, by showcasing some of the Zeon soldiers as regular people who are only doing their job. Case in point, Bernard Wiseman. The same thing can be said about the Earth Federation, who have normal people like Christina Mackenzie fight for what they believe in. The story is mostly told through the perspective of Al, making him the first Gundam protagonist who isn't a mobile suit pilot. Al at first is very naive and oblivious to war, treating it more like it was a game, but throughout the story, as all of the horrific events happen around him, he will begin to realize just how bad war can actually be. Bernard is a rookie who desperately wants to prove himself and become an ace pilot, which makes him a rather compelling character that you can sympathize with. The OVA does an outstanding job showing the brotherly relationship between Al and Bernie. It feels very realistic and makes you believe that the two are brothers, even though they aren't blood related. However, I do have one major complaint in terms of characterization, which was how badly they handled Chris in the overall plot. She plays a huge role in the story, yet she's treated like a side character, which is not a good thing at all. I really wish that they handled her character a lot better than they did. The pacing for the most part is pretty decent. It didn't feel too fast or too slow. However, I feel that the OVA could have gone on longer so that we could have explored certain character relationships even further. Other than that, the story of War in the Pocket was pretty solid. The visuals, I feel, hold up really well. While the character designs may not be appealing to some, I feel that they have a charming quality to them. As I stated before, the series is not as explosive as most other Gundams are, but it does have some rather gruesome and well-animated fights to make up for it. I personally feel that there could have been more battles going on to balance out the large amount of dialogue scenes in the OVA. The mobile suit designs remain faithful to those seen in the original series, but I wish we saw more of what they could really do, especially the Gundam Alex, which is an underrated mobile suit in my opinion. The music does not really fit the overall tone of the anime in my honest opinion. It feels way too lighthearted and campy considering all the chaos going on. However, I did find the opening and ending themes to be really beautiful songs to listen to. The Japanese version is good for the most part. It has some really talented people involved too, most notably the Queen of Seiyus herself, Megumi Hayashibara, voicing Chris. She voiced way too many memorable characters for me to even count. Al is voiced by Daisuke Namikawa, the voice of Rokoro from Black Lagoon, and Joao from Fairy Tail. Then we have Koji Tsutitani voicing Bernard, and he would later voice Seabook from Gundam F91. The English dub is pretty good too. Chris is voiced by Wendy Lee in the dub, and her name should say it all. The others I'm not very familiar with, so I apologize if I left anyone out from the dub. The focus of 0080 was never really on space battles, but rather character relationships, and showing how war affects children. The themes that 0080 presents are explored really well, and the OVA is definitely one of the best Gundam OVAs out there. However, some improvements could have been made to make it better than it was. Chris's character should have been handled better, a few more battles would have been nice, and the series as a whole could have been extended to a couple more episodes. If you don't like the fact that there aren't a lot of Mobile Suit battles going on, then you might not like this series. But if you are interested in the Gundam franchise, but want to start out by watching something shorter in length, then this is the Gundam series for you. Final score, 8 out of 10.